on WebEx or YouTube, we welcome you this morning also. We're here to celebrate the fathers. A few short weeks ago, we gathered just like this to celebrate the mothers. And oh, what a beautiful time we had. We show our sisters how much we love and appreciate them. We show them that we cannot do without them, don't care how we try. Don't care all the bragging that we want to put on. We just can't do without them. So we celebrated them a few weeks ago. And we want to again say thanks to the men who stepped forward and did their best to let the sisters know how much we love them. But today it is about the men. But as I said, I will make it a little wider. I'd like to talk a little more about the family. The family is very, very important to me. Every one of us here, we came from a different background. Some are coming out of homes where parents are loving, parents are kind, parents are attentive, and all the good things that is expected of parents. Others are coming from a home where the relationship was not so good. There are fightings. There were all type of negative things happening. And it affects the family. Some are coming from homes where there are only single mothers. Mothers who have to be playing both roles. Mothers who don't know what it is to get help from the father. And we have that type of background. We also might be talking to people who never knew their parents, none of their parents. They were raised by grandparents. They were raised by strangers. And it is difficult for one from each category to put themselves in the place of the other. I had a little touch of maybe about 3 of them. I had an opportunity of seeing mom and dad together. Not married, but was together. I had just dad was there. And I had seen where it came a time when mom was not there, dad was not there, but I was still there. So therefore, I understood everything about some of these categories. So let us look today on what we have as we talk about father. Fathers today, when we talk about them, we are talking about biological. This is how the world understands fathers. They are only thinking about the biological side of it. And this is where we're having problems today. This is where the problem and the confusion comes in. Because children need their parents. Children need those who God intended to use as an example that we can follow. So when they are not around, it is difficult for the child. But even to another level, we come to those who only drop in and drop out. And I'm talking of fathers. It seems to me sometimes that some men believe that they are just a salesman. And when I said a salesman, I'm talking about a baby salesman. Now, what does a salesman do? He presents his product. He tries to get you to buy his product. And after the product is bought, he disappears. He accomplished his mission. He accomplished that which he sets out for. And unfortunately today, this is the exact thing that we see happening. We have seen men today that are stepping into the lives of unsuspecting women, leaving a baby or babies, and disappear. It is a heartache. Think of the child when the time comes to represent the child at the school teachers, parent-teachers meeting. You're not there. Think of the time when parents need to take their children to work. They're not there. Think of the time when you should take your child to the park. You're not there. The child is left confused because they will see others with parents, their dad, playing and lovingly taking them around. But the child would sit on the side and wonder, what happened to my dad? I don't know if you are ever spoken to a child who tell you that they don't know their father. Had you ever spoken to a child who said they don't know their father? Had you ever spoken to a child who said their father ran off long time ago and they have never seen them again? Had you ever spoken to a child who said, my dad is never a part of my life? It is heartbreaking. The question I want to ask, are you a father or a salesman? Did you just sell a baby to an unsuspected woman and then you run off? Are you a father indeed? Or you only was a father in need of your satisfaction? Where are the fathers today? I give God thanks for those of you who stood up under thick or thin, hard times or good times, you stuck to the task. You make sure that the need has been met. Therefore, your child can proudly look on you and say, there is my dad. There is a man who stuck with me through thick or thin. But I ask the question again. Were you just a salesman with sweet words on your lips, with a convincing argument that would cause the woman to give you what you wanted? And then when you found out that that child is on its way, you disappear. I asked the question this morning, are you a father or are you a salesman? Where do you fit? Those who are listening this morning, I said, where are you standing where your family is concerned? But some will say that I didn't come around because I don't know how to deal with a child. We know that parenting didn't come with a handbook. None of us got a handbook when we are coming or stepping into becoming parents. We get handbook on almost everything else. We get handbooks on cars. We get handbooks on homes. We get handbooks on furnitures. We get handbook on all the other commodities around. But we never get one on the parent. I say this morning to you that God has given us the pathway. He has given us the blueprint that we can follow. He has given us the blueprint that we can start our journey on. It might not be there in plain as some of us would like it, but it is there. I think the problem that we are facing, the problem that the world is facing today, it is because some of the parents has never read that handbook. Some of us, we have never read that God wants us to be there for our children. When he said our children are an heritage, we are never there because we know nothing about God's handbook. God would have us today to stop and think. A parent is not only fathers, and that is why I said I will be going from father to mother to both parents together and children also. We salute our mothers. We salute the women that stood in the gap. We salute the mothers that played the father role when the father was not there. And that is why I said this morning that it is a parent thing. A father alone, it is difficult. A mother alone, it is difficult. The child needs both parents. The child needs both of you to balance the scale properly. The child needs you. And I say, fathers, God has given you that unique role. He said you have the... That's why I would say this morning to the fathers, Or I would say it first to the mothers. Mothers, allow the men, the father, to be fathers. I'll say that again. I'll say to the mothers, allow the fathers to be father. There are many times a father is driven out of the life of the child. There are many times a father does not get the opportunity to do the fatherly thing that he needs to do. There are many times when the mother feels that the child is only hers. And I plead with anyone listening today, whether here or anywhere else, I plead with you, mothers, to allow the fathers to be father. Allow the fathers to play the God-given role that was given to them. Do not step between when a father is correcting the child because you are seeking to get the child's love over the father. Too many of that is happening in our society today, where mothers are separating their children from their father because they want to have total control of the children. I say to you this morning, mothers, from the love of my heart, allow the fathers to be father. But I also appeal to the men. Men, allow the mothers to be mothered. Many times because you have disappeared, many times because you have shirked your responsibility, many times because you are so selfish and self-centered, you take all the attention for yourself. And that's the reason why the mothers have to step forward sometimes to save the children by being the mother who fathered the children. I say this morning it was God's intention. You know, as I look on creation, and I said, maybe God could have taken more women out of Adam. I don't know. Only God knows. He took one out. He could have taken more. But that was not his plan. Maybe he could have caused that when you love a woman, then the man could go under some surgery and remove a rib and make any amount of children they want. But some of us, we want so many that we wouldn't have any rib left. But God had it his way. You see, the more I read the word of God, the more I understood that it is always going to be God's way. Regardless of how we might feel, it's always going to be God's way. And God had it that we as men we need a woman to help us to continue that family going. But my brothers, it does not end there. Loving the woman is a beginning. Getting a child is still a part of the beginning. Because we always have that journey. It is not a sprint, it is a marathon. And the question we always ask ourselves, When does fatherhood stops? I have heard a lot of men saying, I'm just waiting until I'm dying for the child to be 18, and my job will be over. But I have good news for you this morning. It doesn't end there. It doesn't end there, my brothers. Being a father is a lifelong responsibility. When you believe that you have gotten rid of them, they are just ready for your service. When you believe that they are big men, they are just ready to wait on you. It is a lifelong responsibility. I love sometimes when my children call and they have a request. Whether it's asking a question about something in the past that they are too young to know about, or something else. But you know, I notice a trend, and maybe some of you men might have noticed that in the family also. That the children talk more with mom. Have you noticed that? There's a reason for that. You see, if your child has a question that they believe that dad is going to say no and they need a yes, the first person they will go to is who? Mom. That's the way through dad. The way to dad is through mom to dad. So I warn you men, when you realize that you are getting an extra surge of love from mom after she spoke with the children, reach for your diabetic tablet because you're about to have that sweet blood. But I believe that that's how God wants it, because he made us all differently. And he knows that mothers will have the more appeal to the children. So therefore, the children realize this. Do you believe they are not looking? You believe they are not observing? You make a sad mistake, Brother Harvey. They're looking. Mom, can you ask Dad about this for me? Honey, come here, I want to talk to you about something. And they get right to you. But it's still good. There is a path to the dad. The path is through mom. But I'm saying to you men, fathers especially, we have a lifelong responsibility. We have a lifelong task to steer our children in the right path, to steer our family in the right path. Your responsibility is not only to provide them with the luxuries of life, but it is also to make sure that they are in the right path in all the phases of life. So I come to the conclusion that there are three main things that we can look on. You have to earn fatherhood. Number one. Fatherhood is not only the biological thing that happens, that all of us know about. That is good, but that is just a little part. We have to earn that responsibility, that title. And that title comes with a lot of responsibilities.